I have some news for you that came out on Friday from the New York Post. And if it's true, this could be a wonderful thing. Former President Trump met with House Republicans on Thursday and floated the idea of repealing the 16th Amendment. Now, repealing the 16th Amendment would do away with a direct federal income tax. This is beautiful because repealing an income tax would be something that the founders would be in favor of. The founders never envisioned an income tax. In fact, the income tax in the scope of history is a relatively new thing. Prior to 1913, we did not have a federal income tax. And the first income tax we had, in fact, was during the Civil War, but even then it was just a temporary thing. But that never should have happened. But by 1913, we passed the 16th Amendment. And that was a horrible, horrible idea because it gave Congress the ability to be able to directly tax American citizens, which is grossly out of line with what the Founding Fathers envisioned. Keep in mind, we went to war with England over taxes that are 3% or less. So do you think that they would be in favor of taxing the American people directly, and especially at the rates we have today? Government has a spending problem. You don't need me to tell you that. But according to the New York Post, former President Trump met on Capitol Hill and floated the idea of repealing the income tax and going back to tariff systems, replacing it with tariffs. Now, I'm not really a fan of tariffs because tariffs are a tax on the American consumer for imported goods. However, this is far, far more ideal than taxing the American people directly. That is immoral and never should have been done in the first place. To take the American people's hard-earned money at the point of a gun. I'd like to read to you a little bit of this New York Post article, and then I want to keep talking about it. But I want you to hear this. Of course, the experts aren't happy with this. Listen to this. This is from the New York Post article. The individual income tax raises about $2 trillion annually on a tax basis of personal income of roughly $15 trillion. Erica York, senior economist and research director at the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation, wrote on X. Custom duties currently raise about $80 billion annually on imports of $3.4 trillion. Good luck milking tax revenue out of $3 trillion of imports, she added in a separate post on X. Of course, the experts aren't happy about this because the experts, many of these people that the mainstream media likes to use, as well as most of Congress, are addicted to spending. See, we've done this for so long now that many of the American people have forgotten that we survived just fine prior to 1913. We survived just fine without a direct income tax on the American people. But government, as a result, was drastically smaller. This is what I want. I want a radically small government according to today's standards. I want a government so small that it can fit in my back pocket along with my pocket constitution. And I think this is a wonderful way to do it because if we repeal the 16th Amendment, government no longer has the ability to tax us directly. That means more money in your pocket, which is obviously a net good. And it means that government would drastically have to reduce spending, which is also a net good. That would force them to have a balanced budget because they would have to be more economically conservative by default. So it's definitely a step in the right direction. I'm not a fan of tariffs, really, because tariffs are a tax on imported goods. But if I had to pick between tariffs, which are, as I said, a tax on imported goods, or directly taxing the American people's income, which do you think I'm going to pick? I have a saying that is widely used. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. If this is the way we did it before, if this is the way the founders did it, and it worked out just fine, why not return to that? That's what we should be doing. Now, according to the New York Post article, which I will link in the description if you want to read it in its entirety, the Trump campaign did not respond for comment on this issue. I don't understand why, because it would be a net good for his campaign. If you're out there talking about wanting to repeal the 16th Amendment and do away with direct income taxes, that would make your base skyrocket. Your voter base would go through the roof. You want to talk about being economically conservative? Do away with income taxes. That is a net good, and that's something that could get the American people excited. Why not respond about this? Now, let's not count our chickens before they hatch, because remember, it does have to go through Congress, and I'm not confident that Congress would repeal the 16th Amendment. However, with people like Thomas Massey and hopefully pressure from President Donald Trump were he to be reelected, it would help to force people to be more economically conservative. If you want to get people excited about limited government, this is how you do it. You go make arguments about what would lead to more money in their pocket. So this is obviously a step in the right direction and more in line with the original intent of the founders of the Constitution and the Republic. If you approve of this message, if you think it's a step in the right direction, please like this video, share it, and subscribe, because I've not been this happy about something that Donald Trump said in a long time. I think it's a wonderful thing and something we should be excited about. Hopefully he sticks to it.